Hello, it is Monday and welcome to a new weekly reading vlog. This week is the week. This week is the week I've got to get my TBR done. I've got 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to read 4 books. So, 3 and a bit. So I really need to get on it. The books I need to read are Beautiful Little Land, Kilted Lovers, City of Glass, and Pirates. Now, this is a lot, even for me, but I can get through a book a day. That usually isn't a problem, but I'm hiding behind the stack. I am intimidated, especially by City of Glass. Although in saying that, City of Glass is a reread and it's a YA, so it's not going to take me as long as Beautiful Little Land, which is a historical fiction adult novel, it is slow going, but unbelievably fantastic. I'm really enjoying myself. Kilted Lovers, I suspect I may end up DNFing because the last book I picked up from Megan Clausen I didn't like and ended up DNFing. So we'll see how that goes. This is a reread, so hopefully it'll be fast. However, it is just over 500 pages long. And Pirates, I'm unsure about because I've read Celia Rees before and loved her other books that I've read, but the other books were 2 companion novels, so this is a totally new thing. And again, I think it's I don't know if it's middle grade or young adult, that sort of area, so hopefully it should be, again, a quicker read. The font is gigantic. I could read this from across the room, so hopefully that's a quick read. So yeah, we're going to send vibes this week that I get all these books finished. Beautiful Little Land, I am already reading. I'm now 307 pages in. I have actually started, so I finished my section last night, which starts part 3, and part 4 goes to here. So ultimately that's all I need to read today, but I may just finish it because the last part's not that long, really. It's about less than half the size of the previous section. So we'll see how it's going. I am thoroughly enjoying it. We are currently in World War II. Pre-America joining the war. So, closer to the end. And we are, so it's 1941 to 1948. Yeah, the war ends in 45. So I'm not entirely sure when we are, but I want to say I think we're in 1940. I think we are still in 41. Yeah, 1941. And then the next chapter goes to 44. So it jumps, this is what I was talking about in the last vlog, it jumps time quite dramatically. So we are in 1941 currently, and some things have just kind of happened, obviously. I don't want to spoil anything. If you have any interest in Korean history, in the struggles of ordinary people, of just history and people in general, and love excellent writing, I would definitely recommend this. I wanted to update you before I finished my section for today, and I've also got, this is my Kindle read, so I finished The Summer of Broken Rules last night. Loved it, that ending. I genuinely didn't know where the ending was going to go, which is unusual for a romance book. I thought I knew what was going to happen, and then I was wrong. But I thoroughly enjoyed this, and the author's note did tear me up a little bit because although in the book it is the character's sister who dies, and this place, the farm, they've been going on Martha's Vineyard, they've been going for years, their whole lives. The author wrote the story a lot because of her dad. So her dad died, and they used to go, she said 24 years they would go to the farm on Martha's Vineyard. So it's really a sort of dedication to her dad, and I thought that was beautiful. The book, I really am so surprised that I enjoyed it so much. But these really are the ones I need to get through. So you and me, we're taking a journey through reading all those books this week. Well, the majority of this week. And then we can start the May TBR, which is substantial. And I've just remembered I think I remembered yesterday when I watched someone else's TBR that I did not add Fever Dream by Elsie Silver, which is one of my pre-orders, onto my TBR. So my TBR itself is already like 5,700 pages. So we'll see how it goes. I have had months previously, like in previous years, where I've read up to 6,000 pages. It's not undoable, but I'm not going to push it, you know? Hello, it is later on Monday, and I have finished Beasts of a Little Land by Joo-Hae Kim, and this is such an easy 5-star give. It was fantastic. It was... yeah, I'm not even really sure how to describe this, because it's... If you are a historical fiction reader, I definitely think this is one you need to pick up. It's really not necessarily hard-hitting, but it is at the same time. Like, I came away from this just thinking how privileged I am to be born where and when I have been born. I have never had to go through pretty much any kind of external hardship. This obviously follows characters through, so we go 50 years in history. So we get the tail end of World War I. We get the Japanese occupation of Korea. We get the Second World War. We then get the Korean War. We get the separation, I'm not sure what order, I can't quite remember what order it goes to. The separation, like basically Korea split up between the Americans and the Russians / Chinese. Which I can't remember if that's because of the Korean War or that causes the Korean War, because it doesn't go like in depth to the Korean War. And we follow some of these characters, like one of them was born in 1908, and we follow her through to 1965. Like, the things like, all of the characters had to go through, well, not all of them. Not a big fan of the imperialist Japanese general, to be fair. Either of them. For example, there's a 10-year-old in here called Jade, who we follow quite a lot, and she is sold to a courtesan house. So it would effectively be a brothel, but like a high-class brothel. Like, the courtesans are the sort of almost equivalent of a geisha. So she is sold at 10 years old to a courtesan house, and she was meant to go to be just like a maid, but then she ends up being made a courtesan apprentice. And at 10 years old, she starts to learn how to be a courtesan. And it starts off with like lessons in languages and traditional dance and music and like reading, writing, just schooling in general, like sorry, I'm playing with my thing, high class schooling that she would never have gotten in the village she was from. And then it moves on to the arts of like seduction and pleasure, but we don't follow her through that. It jumps quite frequently, and so of course that's not something any child should have to go through, or any person against their will. Like, if you want to do sex work because you enjoy it, more power to you. But nobody should be forced into that line of work. Nobody should really be forced into any line of work, but that's a different conversation. But then she has to go through the wars, in which she is a woman, and a Korean woman in a Japanese occupied country, and she's constantly in danger. And then there's the famines, and it's just like, I feel so blessed for the fact that I was born where I am and when, because I've never had to worry about, and I know like it's not necessarily just because I'm in Scotland, like I've never had to worry about where my next meal's coming from, or whether or not I'm going to survive the night. And I know people in Scotland, there are people in Scotland especially, unhoused people who have to go through that. So it's not just that, but we've never gone through a war like this. Like, we've never had our country occupied in this like the past 30 years. Nobody has occupied the country and done what people did to people in Korea at these times, you know, is what I mean. My personal circumstances are in no way, like, I'm so lucky. Anyway, I'm starting to over-explain. I know what I mean. You know what I mean. We all know what I mean. But this was fantastic. This was wonderful. Not wonderful. Like, the things that happen in it are so, are quite harrowing. But at the same time, there's also a thread of hope that lives through it. Just throughout the entire story. But it was wonderfully written. Beautifully written. It is something you need to sort of read slow going. Like I said before, I was doing chapter by chapter, maybe reading a chapter, setting it down, going and doing something, even just getting a cup of tea, watching a YouTube video, whatever, coming back to it. But I'm so glad I picked this. I was so intimidated by this, but I'm so glad that I've not lost my historical fiction appreciation. Next, I think I will try Kilted Lovers, and this is one that I thought I was going to DNF The Summer of Broken Rules and loved it. I think I'm going to DNF this, but we shall see. And then I might just read City of Glass, because this is the intimidating one. This is the chunker that I need to get through. I might even, if I DNF Kilted Lovers, I might try this and see what I think. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. But we've got just over 1,000 pages, I think, left. I can't remember how much to read in until Thursday. So yeah, once again, wish me luck. This is the last Monday update. I swear, I promise. This is the last update for Monday, because Monday's taken up a lot of the week apparently. But yes, I did in fact DNF Kilted Lovers. Unfortunately for me, this author writing style just doesn't seem to work for me. I don't understand. It's not even the first time this has happened with an author, but I loved her first book, and then the subsequent 2 books that she wrote, I've just not enjoyed the writing style. My theory is that the first book was autobiographical, because a lot of it revolved around things that she experiences in her life, like the fact that her and her dad lived in the Tower of London, and she is dating a soldier. A lot of the experiences in her book, the first book, Falling Hard for the Royal Guard, are experiences she has had, places she has lived, etc. And so the voice caught me. It was really funny, because I don't know if it's because they look similar in my head from the very, very bad memory I have of what Megan Clausen looks like. I don't know if her photo was in the back of this actually, but I kept getting her mixed up with Len Penny. And honestly, the writing style, I could see the first book. There's no photo. The first book, if you told me Len had written it, I'd be like, yeah, sure. But the other two, there's just something about the writing style that I'm not enjoying. They're both adult books, but the writing style itself feels a lot younger. It feels like she's writing for teenagers in high school, and I just don't vibe with that writing style anymore. It's different. Yes, I know I'm rereading these books, but I've already read these when I was younger, so my brain can my brain does a different thing than when I'm reading for the first time. So this unfortunately just didn't, the writing style was just not for me. And on that same vein, I decided to start Pirates, and I said I thought this was a middle grade. I'm not entirely sure what age the character's meant to be at the start, because I was so sure that she said that she was 6, but then she was not later on. 16, I misread that. I'm thinking she was 6. I was reading the diary of a 6-year-old, and again, the way that the writing style was, I just didn't really like it. I think, again, the Celia Rees that I have read, I believe it's Celia Rees that wrote Sorceress and Witch Child, and the reason I enjoyed those, or the reason I enjoyed Witch Child when I first read it, is because it is translated diary entries, and I say translated because it's translated from like an older form of English. It's the diaries of a girl who lived in America back before the Salem witch trials, and she was accused of being a witch because she was strange and she was an orphan. But throughout the book, she talks about this quilt in which she sews, like, when one of the women who looks after her finds her diary, she's like, you cannot keep this, you need to destroy it or like hide it. And so they make a quilt, and in each square of the quilt they sew in some pages of this diary. And what actually happened in real life for the author is that they discovered the blanket, the quilt, and realised that there was something inside of it, and so they opened it up and found the diary. The story that she wrote for Witch Child is a true story. She has literally taken the pages of these diaries, and she has translated it into modern English, and that is the book. She has infilled some things based on like history and stuff like that, and then she, as a historian, tracked what happened to her, the character, the woman, the person, the real person, and Sorceress is that work that she's done tracking that person, and she's infilled obviously the rest of it, but she's tracked what happened to her. So I really enjoyed that, and I think because it was a real diary, that's what I liked about it. This is also formatted like a diary, but in a way that I am this is why I don't read people's diaries from like historical thingies, because it's like, and so we had this for dinner, and then we went and did this, and my brother said this, and then we went to the dressmaker, and then the dressmaker said that I don't work very well with a train of thought style narrative. It just doesn't seem to work for me. Like, I don't need to know every detail of what's happening on your journey. I don't like it. And I do think this is a fully novelised, fictionalised version of these girls' lives. Like, I don't think it's actual diaries, although they're dry enough that they could be. So yeah, unfortunately, this one just felt a bit too, not juvenile in the sense that, not in a derogatory way at all, just for my preference, the writing style was not, did not read as adult. I read as YA, and I'm not really liking YA right now, and unless it's a reread, and this was just very dry, and I just wasn't for having it. So yeah, it always feels like I'm cheating, but this is the thing, I'm really bad for putting off books that I don't want to read until the end of the month. Like, I just push them to the end of the month, and unfortunately, unlike the other two, so the Summer of Broken Rules and Beasts of a Little Land, I thought I was going to DNF. I ended up loving them. Pirates I thought I was going to like, and then I wasn't sure. I ended up DNFing it. Kilted Lovers, I had a feeling that I would DNF it because I DNF'd the previous one, but I was really hopeful that I would like it. So now all I need to read is City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, and this is a reread, so hopefully this should be nice and quick. I'm so mad at myself. So mad at myself that I have highlighted these. No, I don't remember doing it. I don't know what the highlight sections are highlighted for. I have no key. Like, did I just do it in one colour and highlight things that I liked? Did I highlight things in different colours for different things? I don't know, because I left myself no clues, no key, nothing. But yes, I will start this tomorrow. Hopefully, well, yeah, I should be able to get it read in the next few days. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's 492 pages. So just under 500 pages. But like I said, it is a reread, so hopefully it will go a bit faster. But as of right now, it is time to give in to my dog and go to bed. Honestly, he has been a pain in the butt the past few hours. He has been whining. He has been pacing. He has been pushing the door open when the machine was on a spin cycle. He's trying to herd me to bed. That's the thing, he's trying to make me go to bed. So, like, he's not happy that I'm not taking him to bed. Even he went outside and just totally ignored me. Like, I was trying to get him back inside because it was cold, and he can't be left out on his own because he eats things he's not meant to, and so we need to keep an eye on him. So I'm standing there with the door open, and I'm like, he looked like he was away to eat something he wasn't meant to, and I was like, what are you doing? And he looked at me, and I was like, well, you're away to eat something you weren't meant to eat. So he sits down with his back to me and just ignores me for like a good 10 minutes. Like completely ignoring my presence. Every time I told him I come, I was so tempted to go outside and bring him in, but I was just like, do you know what, stuff you. So I pushed the door closed and walked away from him. Honestly, see, when he gets ordinary like this, I really just sometimes want to strangle him. I love him, but oh my god, Scotties, they're so stubborn. Like if they are displeased, you will know about it. So now he's like sitting at the back door, even though he's not long gone out. Like he has been out in the last hour. He does not need to go out. He is just trying to herd me to bed because he knows that he goes to pee and then he goes to bed. So he thinks if he can make me let him outside, then we can go upstairs. And then he'll sit down at my feet and he'll stare at me and he'll stare at me and he'll stare at me and then he'll huff because I'm not paying attention to him and he'll whine because I'm not paying attention to him and he'll go up onto his couch and he'll sit and he'll stare at me and he'll stare at me and he'll whine because I'm ignoring him and then he'll go and sit by the door thinking if I sit by the door, like this door, the hallway door, she'll get the idea that I want to go to bed. I know he wants to go to bed. I know he wants to go to bed, and I know he's just been a whinge about it. But the thing is, he doesn't want to go to bed. No, he doesn't want to go to bed. He wants to get his dentist stick. That is, yeah, did I say dentist stick? He wants his dentist stick because he gets his dentist stick when he goes to bed. And so he wants his dentist stick. And from about 9 o'clock, 9:30, he is like, it is time to go to bed. You need to go to bed. And he will sit, and he usually bugs Kate because she goes to bed earlier than I do because she works earlier. She works at 8 o'clock. So he usually sits and whines at her, but she's upstairs, so now he's whining at me. And I don't give in as easily, but oh my god, the whining really bothers me. Like, he sits and like, like, it's so pathetic. But it's because he's not getting his own way. Isn't that right? Dogs and children, man. Dogs and children. Hello, it's Tuesday and I've not had my tea yet, so please excuse me. But my copy of A Sea Change has just come in and I've read it. I knew it was going to be tiny. We're not going to talk about how much it costs compared to the size of it, but yeah, amazing. Right, here we go. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. So far, not having a great day. And I've not even had my tea yet. Well, let's see what it looks like. Ooh. In back it says, you don't seem like someone who is running away, so you must be someone who's looking for something. Nice. Is there anything inside to make it special? No, just... Oh wait, no, this is not as expensive. I'll need to check one thing. I thought this was £22, which is obnoxiously expensive. But the flap says £12.99, so I'm probably just wrong. But yes, look at this teeny tiny little Shadowhunter novel that I've already read. Teeny tiny little Shadowhunter with the squeaky spine. So reading wise, all I've got to do today is read City of Glass, which I don't think I'm going to read all of today. I might. But I don't feel like I will end up reading all of it today, because it's almost 500 pages. I could, technically, but yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to be rushing to read it. I want to actually enjoy it. I've just got loose hair everywhere. I shed like a cat, honestly. So yes, I am going to go watch some YouTube and drink my tea. And then maybe have a look at starting this. This is technically my last book of the month. If I do finish this, I will probably start one of my arcs, Bruise and Bandages, from next month. I feel really stupid because like I have this like strict thing of like, no, I can't start my TBR until the 4th. Who cares? Literally, who cares? If I start Bruise and Bandages, if I start something from my TBR in May and finish it in April, who cares? I still don't like crossing over because for my spreadsheet it says a pain in the butt, but if I finish this, I will probably start something else. Or I might just binge watch some Supernatural. Who knows? I do have Bruise and Bandages pulled up on my Kindle for my next Kindle read. And I need to update some spreadsheets and stuff today as well. But I am so tired, like... I told myself I would get up earlier today. My body was like, no, we're not. We're too done in for that. So I slept longer than I wanted to. My back really hurts. My joints just generally really hurt because I'm dehydrated. Like, does anybody else get that? Your joints start to hurt when you're dehydrated. I understand why, especially since I'm on propranolol. I'm sure it draws water out of your system, so that your blood pressure's not as high. So like it draws like liquid water, I'm assuming, out of your bloodstream to reduce your blood pressure. So I have to keep fighting with it's such a weird balance because I'm on propranolol because of the pressure inside my brain caused by my Chiari malformation. So it brings the pressure down in there, but it also brings my blood pressure down. It doesn't actually affect my blood pressure too much, which is really, really good. It only brought it down a few points. Because my blood pressure is pretty much bang on when they check it. But I have issues with like dysautonomia, and like yesterday when I got out of the shower, my feet were purple. Like concerningly purple. Like I thought I was hallucinating purple. Whenever I got out of the shower, my feet were purple. So, and when I'm not hydrated enough, my joints get really sore. So I think that it's drawn out the fluid out of my joints. So yeah, I'm just feeling a bit rough today. But my jaw really hurt, like my actual jaw joints. Probably from yapping so much. You're gonna be like, it's because you're yapping, isn't it? It's because I'm having really weird, vivid dreams. Like in my last year, I was being chased, and I was clenching my jaw. I don't grind my teeth anymore, but I do clench my jaw. Anyway, tea. Hello, it is, what day is it? What day is it? It is Wednesday. Well, technically it's Tuesday. Tuesday vlog update. Wednesday, actually. I have managed to read 140 pages of this, which is not impressive at all. I've been doom scrolling. I've been doom scrolling most of the day, other than watching. I finished Supernatural season 1. I finished Supernatural, and I did some washing, and I watched YouTube. Today has been a very lazy day. That's the TV remote. Today has been a very lazy day. Actually, no, that's not quite true. Kay's mum came around for lunch, so I was chatting to her for a while. But other than that, I haven't really done much. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. It's past 2 a.m, and I'm not tired, which is not a good sign. I don't want to end up being nocturnal. The problem is, if I let my body do its natural sleep-wake cycle, I could easily be up for another couple hours and then not get up until like 11, 12. And I don't want to do that. I have been doing that. Like I've been waking up at 11, 12. Not 11, 12, like 10, 11. And I would like to actually keep better hours. Give myself like a little bit of leniency though, because I'm just having a bit of my pain has been really not great. I've not been feeling great, generally speaking. And I've had a lot on my mind. So I'm just being gentle with myself. But tomorrow I need to get up and shower before going to the doctor's, which my doctor's appointment is until 20 to 3 anyway. So plenty of time to shower. But yeah, I do need to be reading more. I also, last night, I don't know if I said, started the audiobook of Project Hail Mary while lying in bed. I only listened to a little bit of it. Like, he still doesn't know his name. He's still not worked out his own name. That's where I am in the book. It's very, very at the start. Very, very at the start. I said to Kate when we watched the film that the start sequence, like when he wakes up, is so like stripped bare in the movie, and it really, really is. Like what he's done so far in the book is just like the movie just stripped it bare. Like we have just everything's gone basically, which is a shame. But yes, I'm gonna go to bed and hopefully get some decent sleep. Wake up not in pain tomorrow. That is my goal, to not wake up in pain tomorrow, but I don't see that happening. And just, yeah, get some sleep. Hello, it's Wednesday, and I'm having a time right now. I am having a time. So just to update you on today, went to the doctor this this afternoon, and the doctor agreed with my theory of what is causing some issues that I'm having health-wise, and has given me another medication to try and counteract that issue. So that's nice. She does want me to do other testing just to rule out a couple of things. Otherwise, she's quite happy that we know what's going on. I have not done any. Have I done reading? I don't think I've read anything today. I think I read 130 up to page 139 last night. I'm going to have to do better today. And otherwise, what have I been doing? What have I been doing? I don't know what I've done today. Wow, that's terrible. Terrible. But yeah, the reason I'm having the reason I'm having a wee moment here is that I don't know how much you know about me, or how much my friends even know about me in this regard, but I'm a huge fan of Dan Brown's Robert Langdon books. I was so excited when The Secret of Secrets came out, because I love the Da Vinci Code, and I'm a bit meh on Angels and Demons. Rude. But I love the Da Vinci Code. I love that. I love the Robert Langdon series. It is a fantastic, I just think it's a fantastic read. It is so much fun. It is so quick and just keeps you going. And the story that he manages to pull, utilising different aspects of history and all these different things that he pulls together to create this story, is amazing. I think it's so much fun, and I absolutely adore these stories. Now, I've just watched a documentary on the Da Vinci Code. Now, I would like to say they did not speak to Dan Brown at all during this documentary, and they had several experts talking about different aspects of art historians and stuff like that, discussing the aspects of the Da Vinci Code. Because if you don't know about the Da Vinci Code, it is it's kind of like a mystery thriller. I'm not entirely sure how you would document it. Work of literary fiction, where the main character, Robert Langdon, is implicated in a murder, and he has to use his expertise as a cryptologist. Is he a cryptologist? I can't remember. He works in symbols. He's a specialist in symbols and an expert in symbols and stuff like that. And so he has to use that expertise and the hints given by the man who was murdered to figure out who actually killed this guy, what's happening, exonerate his name, find out the secret, etc., etc. So the first one is The Vitruvian Man by Da Vinci, and the dead body is posed in the pose of the Vitruvian Man, which is a Da Vinci drawing. It's about anyway, and so in various points of this, it uses various different Da Vinci pieces of art, like The Last Supper, in the through line of this investigation that Langdon is doing, trying to clear his own name. Now, the art historians, some of them were going into the prevalence of the art, and they were talking about things to do specifically with the art that's used in it. But there was this one woman, there was one historian, one guy who I really liked, but there was this one historian, one bloody art historian, who just got really up her arse about it, right? And she was very I'm so smart, and Dan Brown is so dumb. He really thinks that this, and this won't mean that. It is a work of fiction. I need somebody to tell this wifey that it's a work of fiction. She was treating it like Dan Brown had handed this book over as a theory, as an actual factual theory of Christ, of Christ and Mary Magdalene and the chalice. What's it called? The holy cup thing. What's it called? The cup. Oh, what's it called? The Holy Grail. She was treating it like Dan Brown had come forward in a academic setting and had put this book forward as a paper of some kind to be like, here's all the things that point to this being the Holy Grail and blah blah blah. And she was being really arsey about it, really does he really think that? It is a work of fiction. And this is what I'm saying. I like the other historian. So he was talking about the guy. He was talking about the Templars and stuff like that. Talking about the history of the Templars, and he was saying what we need to remember though about this book is that it is a work of literary fiction. It is not real. And he was saying it in a way that was he enjoyed it. He's as a historian, I can read it and I can enjoy it, while not having to, like, while I can appreciate things he's used from history to create his story, I understand that it's not real. And this wifey, somebody needs to tell her. Like, she's sitting there giving it, he's looking at this through a modern lens. You need to look at it through the lens of the time. It is a work of fiction. Mind good bitch, it is a work of fiction. Why are you trying to debunk a work of fiction? This is all in Dan Brown's head. This is canon, only in Dan Brown's head. We understand that. I'm not even an art historian, and I understand that. I understand that Dan Brown is not putting down a theory and saying, this is historical fact. He is saying, here are these fun things in history, I'm going to make a story out of it. It is a story. A story, a work of fiction. A fable. A tale. It's not real. Ironically now I really want to reread the Da Vinci Code. But I'm not, because I have too much on my plate right now. But yeah, it just frustrated me to no end that she looked at this as if it was a work of fact, like a non-fiction. Like, he was putting this forward as real, like, theory. And she's like, I don't want to say anything that's, like, spoilery, but she's like, oh, the way, like, he doesn't understand how women were important in the church. That's not why he did what he did. That's not why he's... The point she was talking about, that's not why. It's because it's a play on symbology. Like, Dan Brown was writing a story that played on symbology. Not because he doesn't understand that women are important in the church. Anyway, I'm going to go. I've got some more videos to watch, and I really need to get through a good chunk of this, because tomorrow I'm not going to have much of a chance, because I'm going down to the lunar market with Vicky, and I've got to get up and go pick her up. Hello, I am the worst booktuber vlogger ever, because I have not been doing two things: reading or vlogging. So that's literally this is the entire point of this. But yes, it is now the 1st of May, and I have only managed, with the reading that I've done today, I have not even, well, I'm now about halfway through this book. I only started part 2 today, so I only got like 200 pages. Was it 200? Yeah, about 200 pages in April. So May, this is getting added on to my TBR. I've still got 4 hours left of Project Hail Mary, but that's fine, because if I'm listening to an audiobook, it's because I'm doing something where I can't read a physical book, and I don't think I have audiobooks for any of the rest of my books, so that's fine. But yes, I have half of Project Hail Mary to read, I have half of my Shadowhunter book to read, I have all these books to read, and I have the ones that are coming from Waterstones to read as well, so that's amazing. We went to the lunar market yesterday in Edinburgh, me and Vicky and Pia, and we went to see Spoops, who had a booth there. I'll put their company, it's called Northern Folklore. Is it Northern Folklore? That's terrible. Do you know when you look something up? Because I film on my phone, so I have to look things up on my phone before I film, and then the minute the camera's on, I'm like, I don't know anything. Anyway, I'll put Spoops' thing in the bottom, in the thing. Yep. She does stickers and prints, and I'll show you a couple that I got. So I got this bookmark. So there we go, Northern Folklore Archive, that's what it's called. So I got this bookmark, which is a ghostie. It's Spoops draws all these, by the way. Look at my ghostie. I love the ghostie. See, when I saw the bookmark, I was like, no way. I also got a sticker version of the ghostie. Look, it's the same. But this is the sticker version. And then I got this sticker. This is Party Ghostie. And then this just made me giggle. So yes, these are all handmade by Spoops. And I love my ghostie bookmark. And I finally got the form I needed from the post office. But yeah, we went to that yesterday. We had dinner at the Edinburgh Street Food place. It was so good. I love the fact that you can get multiple different things. And then we went to the market. Then we went home before midnight. It was amazing. And then so Vicky stayed over last night, and then we went through to Stirling today to go to the Book Nook. And then I dropped Vicky off and came home. I am exhausted. I'm so tired. my shins hurt, my feet hurt, my knees hurt. I could just keep going, like my hips, but just head, shoulders, knees and toes. I'm in so much pain. I've also started uploading books to sell on Depop, so I'll leave the Depop shop link down in my description as well. So much has happened. Like Vicky was helping me with the Depop thing because I just a bit too overwhelmed with it. So yeah, don't know if I said earlier in the vlog, but I also finished season 1 of Supernatural. So I finished Supernatural, and on season 2 I've not watched anymore. I'm still catching up with my watch later right now. But the plan is to try and get as much of this read today as physically possible, because I should have finished it yesterday. I did not finish it yesterday. And I need to get a start on this ridiculously long TBR. Hello, it is Sunday, and I am not entirely sure the last time I vlogged. I have just been dealing with a really bad pain flare up, and I've been not good. So I've just been not doing this. I have, however, been reading. I did finish City of Glass. So I had like more than half of this to take over from April into May. Rude. Let's try that again. I had over half of this to take over into May. So this is now on May's read, which I did not need. I did not need more to take over into May. But we continue. So I managed to finish City of Glass. I did not enjoy it, I think, as much as the last time. There was just so much happening in it. Like, so much that I was like, can we get to the point? Can we get to, like... But, yeah. I still really enjoyed it. And I think I was just struggling because, well, of my pain and my tiredness and the fact that it's a reread. I just think even though it's a book, even though it's a series I really enjoy, some of the YA-ness of it is really not like vibing with me, which makes sense because YA is just not my thing anymore. Like I think my biggest problem a lot of the time with YA is how the characters behave, because on the one hand, I don't want my teenagers in books acting like grown-ass adults. I think it's not. I don't want them acting like adults, because that's just not what I want. But when they act like actual teenagers, I'm reminded that I don't want to deal with teenagers. So it's not a bad thing. It's just I have moved on from the age range level. It's the same reason I've never really liked middle grade. I don't like when children act like children, which makes no sense. In books, I don't relate to children, so I don't want to read that. I no longer relate to teenagers, so I've just kind of gone off of it. There are like things that I've already read. The nostalgia is really good for me, though. I really like the nostalgia, and there are some where it does work for me. Like, I find that YA fantasy can be quite good because it's not quite as dark or heavy as fantasy, but we're getting off real here. I finished City of Glass, really enjoyed it. I also finished, what's it called? I was also reading this, like, why are we not focusing more on Agnes, Malik? No, that's just both the ship names, Magnus and Alec more, because that's what I want. I want Magnus and Alec. Although the 800-year age difference is a bit, now that I think about it, but we're not thinking about it. Then I also finished, again, I don't know why I started this right at the end of April, because I had most of it to read in May, which was Project Hail Mary. I listened to be fair, that one's not so bad. I was listening to the audiobook of Project Hail Mary because I just really wanted to, like, people still caught up in the hype of the movie, and then people picking up the book because of the movie and discovering how incredible it is, which is amazing. Like, I'm so glad that more people are reading it. It just made me want to read it again, and so I did. I've been listening to it when I've not been able to read physically, so like when I was in bed and couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain, when I was down here and I was so in pain and nauseous and just, I was really dizzy and like couldn't focus my eyes. It was almost like, I was going to say it's almost like being drunk, but I was just ill. Does it count as being ill when it's my chronic illness? Like, I was just having a bad pain flare up, and I was having my brain couldn't quite focus on things. I couldn't even like deal with the moving stuff on the TV. I just felt so bad. So I was listening to an audiobook curled up on here, with my eyes closed, basically. I cannot explain to you how dry the back of my hands are. I really don't like the feeling of moisturiser on my hands, but the back of my like on this part of my hands, because everything just feels greasy to touch, but the back of my hands gets so dry, and sometimes it starts splitting, like the knuckles start splitting and stuff. So I just put it on the back of my hands, put moisturiser on the back of my hands, and do this, looking like a weirdo. If it's one that does really sink in well, which this one doesn't, it does sit on your hands for a little bit, I will just like then put my hand like this bit of my hand. You don't care. Yes, I have also now just finished Training the Heart. This is the second book in the Silver Pines Ranch series, and this one really hammers home the if you like Elsie Silver, you will like this, because it is very much like a combination of the Gold Rush Ranch and the what's it called? Chestnut Springs. I actually sent a voice note to the girls earlier, but like, this is how it reminds me of Chestnut Springs, and then rattled off a whole load of things. Not in the sense of saying like I think she's copied it, just, you know, when you're talking about a genre, there are going to be crossovers. But like there was various things where I was like, this is comparable to If You Like This in Chestnut Springs. Not in a sense of like the series that I've been watching on Reels, where someone has been reading Powerless and Red Queen and Hunger Games and thinking the parallels with that. But this follows Ivy, who is the new horse trainer for the ranch. We meet her at the end of the first book as she arrives for her interview. And Wade at first doesn't want to, like, Wade has taken on all the weight of taking over the ranch after his dad died recently. And I think it was only 10 months or something previous to him taking over the ranch. Well, previous to like roughly this book and the last book, that his dad died. And so he's taken on a lot of the burden of that, being the oldest son. And not in a sense that like his family don't want to help, like they are there, they're helping. They have, like, his brother had just started as the deputy sheriff, so he couldn't just pan his job in. His mum is getting older, his sister was living on the other side of the country, and his other brother is his like adopted brother, had just moved back and had opened like 3 different businesses. So like, and he was helping them financially because he was a hockey player, an ex-hockey player, so had like a lot of money in the bank to help them. So, and he has a ranch hand as well, Hayden, who I believe is going to be in book 4. I want to say, I'm guessing that book 4 is going to be Hayden. I don't know that. I've not looked at the synopsis. I just have a feeling, because I know who's in the next book and it's not him, and I know who's in the last book because I got it mixed up with the next book and it's not him. So I'm guessing it's going to be not the next one, but the next one. But I love this. I love this so much. So Ivy has just gotten out of a horrible, abusive relationship, and kind of escaped to like a few hours away from where that was. So the next doesn't know where she is. She is also having to handle the fact that her dad died, but her dad died years ago, and her mum didn't handle it very well and became an alcoholic, so she has been looking after her mum ever since, and is really struggling with that, with her ex, and then wanting to be a horse trainer. She's only, I think she's like 20, she's in her 20s. Because at first, there's a whole thing about like, oh, she's too young and too inexperienced, but she's actually got loads of experience. It's like, how did you get experience that much when you're only this age? So like, I was like, but that's not that young. Like, yes, if she's 25, I can't remember if she's 25, but if she's 25, that's young. I'm not saying you're not young, but in the sense of like having experience for a job, especially in a job like being a horse trainer, like if you've been brought up on a ranch with horses, like her dad trained horses, she trained horses with her dad, like she's been doing it for years, like she just has been. Her dad's friend was a horse trainer, he took her on, like that's 25 is a good age to have a decent amount of experience. But what do I know about horse training? Anyway, and Wade sort of like immediately is just like totally taken by her, and is mad about it because he's a grumpy man. It's such a grumpy sunshine. Like, he is so mad all the time. Not mad, just like he's struggling and he doesn't quite know how to like deal with his dad's death, and his ex is I feel like white trash would be too nice. I actually got like confused at the start of this. I was like, because in the previous book, which is the sister's book, the first book, she gets into trouble because she gets into she gets into trouble in the bar because she starts a fight with her brother's ex, and I was like, is this one or is this Cole's ex? It was Cole's ex, who's friends with his ex. They're both trash, and not like literally they're horrible people. They deserve all the bad things, but yes. They then they're like trying to find a yearling horse to train up for the Kentucky Derby, which is so funny to me because I started reading this book yesterday or the day before, but I started reading this book I think yesterday, and I'm pretty sure yesterday is when the Kentucky Derby was. How I managed that, I don't know. I also Cece, the sister who's in the first book, the way I see her, I showed it on pictures in the vlog, is I can't remember if it's Ali or AJ from Ali and AJ, but she's also in with the look that I see her as Cece, in Easy A, and I had clips come up on reels of Easy A of that friend of like she's the friend and she's yelling, like they're on the phone arguing about did you have sex with such and such at this party, that scene, and it's the actress, so it's really weird that I'm reading this at the same time that this is all happening. And I saw a video last night that was talking about how underrated 10 Things I Hate About You is. Was it not just mentioned in this book? And I watched a video about someone did like an Oreo thing. So for every fat joke made in like these 90s 2000 rom-coms, she ate an Oreo. And 10 Things I Hate About You had 0. But you know what did have loads? I mean, obviously, like, Love Actually was the winner by far. But one of the ones that did have it was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Guess what else is mentioned in this book? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. It's all, like, it's just, conspiracy. Yeah, so I managed to read, like, quite a decent amount in the last couple of days, which is good because I still have so much to read. I think next I'm probably going to read Silvercloak, but I'll tell you about that in next week's vlog. If you want to let me know you were here but you don't want to sit and leave a comment, if you leave me some kind of cowboy horse type emojis, if there's like a cowboy boot or a cowboy, or I know I've just done this recently, or recently to me anyway, or a horse, a racing horse, that would be amazing. And yeah, I should probably start saying to people like and subscribe, which just feels weird to say, but obviously I've been watching YouTube and all the other YouTubers do it, so should I do it? Do I compel you? Try and compel you to like and subscribe? Anyway, yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video where hopefully I'm not as much of a hot mess, but there's very little that can be guaranteed right now. Bye!